This is the brown alga Macrocystis pyrifera collected from right off of Long Beach. Its blades, especially the older ones, are often covered with this gray crust, which seems to be made up of circle-shaped subunits that run into each other. This is an animal. To see it more closely, we need to make some pieces that we can fit under the lenses of a dissection microscope. That is easy to do with scissors. The most difficult part of this is actually picking up the slippery kelp bits at the end, as you'll see. Once we have conveniently sized pieces submerged in seawater, it's easy to look at them from the top with a dissection microscope. Here the lighting is coming from a fiber optic illuminator from the top and from the side as well. That was these animals in seawater without any food, but we can offer them food as well in the form of unicellular algae, and those are pretty easy to grow in natural light. All of these views have been from above, with light coming from above as well, what we call incident light. It would be interesting to see these with light from below the animals transmitted through their bodies. That might help us see what's going on in the quote unquote box part of these animals, the part below that crown of tentacles. But the kelp is too thick, it blocks transmitted light. So in this sequence, I've used a razor blade to remove a thin layer of kelp from underneath the animals. It's not perfect, but it allows a lot more transmitted light through. A better solution would have been to see if these animals will grow directly on a glass slide, so there's nothing interfering with light from below other than whatever skeleton they put directly on the glass, but that requires more forethought than I had before making this video. It's a little harder to see these in side view, but not much. To do that, you can take a very thin slice of the kelp blade using a razor blade and just rotate it 90 degrees. Unless your slice was just perfect, it won't rest in the best orientation for viewing. So you can stabilize it in whatever you think that perfect orientation is using a little piece of clay. There are undoubtedly other ways of doing this too. This is just one that seems easy to me. Most of the rest of the footage in this video is from this perspective in side view, on a dissecting microscope for low power, and then on a compound microscope for higher magnifications. You've already seen some other organisms living on the kelp in addition to the encrusting animal that we've been focusing on. Here's one of those other members of this community. To my knowledge, this animal lives only on the encrusting animal that we focused on until now. And if we were to watch that animal and another of its kind for long enough, we'd see them produce these objects, which are attached to the kelp.